Something across the sky, like a patient euthanized upon a table.
They were spread out. Yeah.
Spread out, I think, yeah.
Brewfox. I think that means you can push the button.
I have pushed the button.
Dun,
Wrong
dun,
button,
dun.
darling.
Also, the fox went out on a chilly night, and he prayed to the moon to give him light. For many a mile to go that night, before he reached the town-o.
If a fox is praying at the moon, that probably means it's screaming. Because what does the fox say? The fox says, insert shriek here. Will
And also
scream.
laugh. Foxes like to giggle.
That I have not heard.
Oh,
I've only heard them shriek.
they
Oh,
giggle.
is it even creepier?
There is a YouTube
no.
channel called Save a Fox. That it's a fox rescue, and
Uh-huh.
foxes like to go hee 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 hee. I cannot even get close to the sound they make, but it sounds like a giggle.
I'll have to listen to that later. Okay.
Crash,
Hi,
have
this
I
is-
shared the porcupine video with you?
Not yet. Another thing
Maybe,
I'll have to see.
probably not though.
Should I do the intro?
I suppose.
Fine. This is Beth doing GURPS Wars. It's a homebrew GURPS Star Wars game. We're doing the Logistics Apprentices still because they're entertaining and, stuff. And I've got Crash, and I've got Ellie, and I've got EO, and I've got my allergies, which make me sniffle sometimes, and I hate it. So, what happened last time?
Well,
Planning.
Somebody met a new friend.
We
I
all
wasn't
did.
invited.
We brought him in to say hello to you.
Yes, after you had all gotten to know one another. I feel left out.
Well, you can do lots of catching up on our way to the Cave of Nope or wherever it is.
Yes, I suppose that's true.
Oh, that's right. You went and abandoned your people, didn't you? Well, not abandoned. You boosted
Well,
a signal.
We called for help for them. Well, two of
You
them
did.
anyway.
True, true.
And the third is coming
We
with
thought
us.
we thought perhaps Buck might do better with less intervention from the huts. And we
Very
knew our new friend would do better with less intervention from the huts.
Yes, he's very much would rather have much less intervention from huts. The huts are definitely not the sort of intervention that he wishes to deal with. Put him back. I feel like that's skipping some stuff. Oh, right, and you had to talk down one of your civilians from having absolute nightmares, waking nightmares, and everyone is walking zombies and whatnot, and she didn't shoot anyone, barely.
I am only
believe
one
my
person. I can't do the entire recap.
Well, does someone else want to do any of the recaps?
There was no defenestration this time.
Indeed. Your definitifs were unstraighted. They were crooked?
We are heading off to find Rufu.
Oh, we did do first aid on
Indeed.
ourselves.
That's right. Yes,
And-
there was some first aid done.
And then Tuxa alternated between meditating and using the Force to heal herself over and over again, while the rest of us were having the conversation with Hosa'Ashi.
Hmm?
So somebody is going into this battle with a full tank.
Somebody is.
It's not me.
Please ask,
This
darling.
does remind me that before we leave, I should probably try to meditate.
If you ask, I will oblige. It's not like I've been sparing the healing for other people.
Very well.
You wandered off.
Yes. And Tuxa, would you be so kind as to do something to help with
All of
this?
that.
Yes. I'm gesturing at the blood that's like the front of my uniform / robes is incredibly stained. So is the floor. So is the couch.
There's so
You're-
much blood.
You're down 4. I can give you 1 back right now, and in a minute, I will roll another one.
Uh-huh.
I will take whatever I can get. Why did that go up to 8? Beth, did you click on the button the same time I did?
Possibly. I won't touch it now. I'm not
It-
touching it. I wasn't
Okay.
touching any buttons. I was just looking. And Tux has done healing of
I will give you another
5
3,
total. Oh, 3. Okay.
Ooh. Well, that takes me up to full.
and then I will meditate.
While you
And,
people are doing all this, Hosa would like to go wait outside just in case people show up and, like with an air car or something while you're meditating.
Yeah, that's fair.
As soon as I'm
Once that's
healed.
done,
Sorry, you go.
I am going to keep meditating for as long as I'm allowed to, because currently I'm down to 7 fatigue.
I'm going to say that is up to the PCs to figure out.
Sononi, I think I saw you roll, but I didn't see the result.
Meditate made by 4.
Okay. Well, that's another 2.
I'm
All right.
thinking of Antux and the Inquisitor Switor animation where you just sort of pace back and forth glowing red.
Yeah. I love that I think it's the Inquisitor and the Consular. No, it's the Inquisitor and the Knight have respectively, so that scene in Phantom Menace where Qui-Gon and Darth Maul are separated by the Force shield, and Darth Maul is doing the like lion at the zoo pacing back and forth, and Qui-Gon is kneeling there and meditating.
Oh,
That's
yes.
the animations for the Inquisitor and the Knight.
Nice. I suppose they decided that the warrior wouldn't do well with pacing, so they just have the warrior stand there and go.
Yeah. Will the rest of the party let me get away with more than 5 minutes of meditation?
I'm spending the time where you're meditating outside, just walking around the building, keeping a lookout for things.
Hosa, by the way, has vanished again. You don't see him.
I know someone else who can do that. I'm not creeped out by it at all. Unless she
Not at
wants to
all.
creep me out. She's very good at it.
Yes, that scene, Crash. I've
You
always
found-
really liked that.
Oh, you found the other part of it. Yeah. Stare back and forth.
One of the things I remember from going to the zoo as a kid is there were, actually, I think it was hyenas. I think it was hyenas. There were 3 of them in a single pen, and there were a bunch of kids outside the pen, and the pens were separated from the paths by like 10 feet, and there was a wall. This was in the 80s, so it was like a wrought iron wall of the pen, and then another wrought iron fence at the edge of the path with and that fence had like inward facing spikes so that you had to really go out of your way to get past it. And all the kids were just standing there watching the hyenas, and the hyenas were in sync, pacing back and forth like that. Their eyes constantly on the kids.
They were either thinking that would be fun to hunt, or it will be fun to creep everybody out.
Yeah, no, that was, can I find a way past this wall?
Cranky hyenas.
Yeah, I will. In theory, I only need another 3 minutes. So unless Sononi objects, I'm going to try and take it.
Sonone is not going to object.
Okay. I am using up all my high rolls.
Just made it.
And it's a failure, so I'm done. I'm up to 10. That'll have to do.
And I definitely don't see anything when I'm walking around.
You're walking around, you're not noticing anything.
Oh, of course, that's a critical success.
I'm missing everything, and Tuxa is aware of everything I've missed while still inside the building.
That's detecting disturbances, not a mere perception.
I think based on the antagonist we've dealt with, that's appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't tell if an air car's coming.
The air car does not. If there's an air car coming, it does not have any force users in it.
But the air car would be disturbing the air.
Right, and a lot of people are not, dying at the moment, and
Yet.
there are.
My detect disturbances is called As If Millions.
That's true. Yep. You detect all of the dark spots of, force intensity, force concentration. They're all pretty dark, honestly. You haven't really found any light ones. This is a planet that is apparently neutral to dark. In the Force, the Jedi would be sad. Ha ha ha, sad Jedi.
Well, of course it's dark. It's sandy. And while I don't necessarily have an objection to sand at the moment, I have not had a proper bath in days, and I have sand in places that certain people present aren't even allowed to imagine.
I hate sand.
So,
cacti grow in sand.
I promise I am not imagining sand into anyone's underwear.
oh, it wasn't you, darling.
I'm outside and not hearing this conversation. Unless it's being said over our communicators, which is hilarious and disturbing at the same time. If it's being held over our communicators, that's why I failed my perception check.
But I know what Buck has been thinking this entire time, and it's, I wish I had a decent meal that didn't have sand in it.
That's right, you did drag Buck down. Let me put Buck in the room. I think Buck is just going to be probably sitting in a chair or sitting on the ground, just waiting for people who are meditating.
Does Buck have a weapon?
Buck does not have a weapon. You took all of Buck's weapons away from him.
I thought he had the pistol again.
No, that was the doctor.
I thought the doctor gave him the pistol back.
I would not have allowed that.
I didn't think so. I think ran off with whatever. That's right. He had a little fake pistol a small pistol, and I believe that, honestly, I think Rand may still have it somewhere in his pack.
That's the one we gave to the lady who then shot the floor.
You found another one at another slug thrower at the first encampment.
Oh, that's right. And I think Rand does have it.
It wasn't on my character sheet, but if it is, then it isn't because I'm giving it back to Buck.
That when Buck came with us, the pistol got given to him.
Perhaps you're right.
If it wasn't, then it is now.
Okay, Buck has his terrible little slug thrower.
I confess I was paying more attention to the scorpions and cacti.
So was I.
Not enough, apparently.
Right,
the
I deserve that.
Yes.
And so does this cacti. One of the cacti I've previously thrown, I'm going to throw again. Just to have it be further away.
Because you have opinions about them.
Give in to your hatred.
I did that during the previous arc.
Well, yes, you can do it again. No time like the present.
And the past.
The best time to give in to your hatred is in the previous arc. The second best time is now.
The past, the present, and the future all walk into a Star Wars campaign. It was tense.
I don't think that we need to spend any more of our hatred on cacti right now.
I need to do something while I wait.
It's true. We have perfectly good huts and, things out in the desert to hate. Sen, are you finished meditating, darling, or do you still have more to do?
Maybe I should have leveled up my
perception. I can recover the last couple fatigue.
That was weird. I saw 2 sets of dice that I couldn't see results for.
Weird.
Ran has
one
failed
of them was
perception
mine.
roll by 1.
Yeah. You couldn't see my failed perception roll.
No, I couldn't see a failed perception roll because for some reason my chat thing didn't scroll down.
Mine didn't scroll down either.
Buck, darling, let's go outside and give Sen their privacy.
Yes,
for the last, while they get the last of their strength back.
Yes, he will follow along and out the door, and he will close the door behind him quietly. Looking around. So where's the other guy?
Oh, I'm sure he's around here somewhere. Did I detect him?
You detected that his presence is around, but blurred.
Gotcha.
In the way that you would expect someone who goes invisible like you do to have a blurred presence.
Gotcha.
But with a critical frickin' success made by 10. Yes, you detect that his presence is around here somewhere fairly close. You
I'm
did
sure
that from inside, so it was like he's outside.
he'll join us once we're outside the fence.
Okay, yes'm. He will stick close to Antuxa.
And now let's play a game
That
called How
sure-
Far Do We Need to Walk Before the GM Changes the Map?
Well, assuming that Sen is done,
I
and
can get out of the door, yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And someone has probably called Dr. Kenso to close and barricade the door, so you hear some scraping sounds.
Yes, I would have done that before we left the house.
I figured. Yeah, you hear the sounds of him doing his best to barricade things, and probably just going to be like barricading his way up the stairs and whatnot. Okay, as you clear the fence, indeed, Hosa'Ashi does appear, poof, somewhat out of nowhere, but goes, yeah, and hides behind Antuxa. And it is something of a walk. Now, where is my... Oh, you wretched little thing. Why are you not giving me what I want to have open? File. Open recent. And it's not open. The sun is going to be coming up by the time that you are going to be getting places. You're doing a lot of walking in the night. Why don't you give me, like, hiking or survival desert just for fun while I dig up my notes.
What's the default rule for that?
Usually it's IQ minus 4 or 5.
Would you accept climbing?
Perception -5 for survivalist.
Yeah.
For survival. Perception -5 for survival. Health -5 for hiking.
Oh, I missed my perception -5 by 1.
Well, hello, cacti, my old friend. I've stepped in mess of you again.
Well, there's only one proper response for that.
Gonna hurl cactus. With a
4 successes and a crit success to go with it.
You're just leaving a little trail of mutilated cacti behind you.
What do you mean little? With a crit success, you could land a row of TIE fighters without fear of hitting any cacti at all. Not even the roots.
You'd have to invent TIE fighters.
Right, TIE fighters don't exist in your timeline yet.
By the time they're invented, the cacti will not have grown back here. Not if I have anything to say about it. I will come back and salt the earth.
Salt and sand.
Its course
Hosa
gets
is
everywhere and is
eyeing
horrible in wounds.
Hosa and Buck are eyeing you. Buck is hiding behind Antuxa. Hosa's just giving the Zabrak impression that perhaps you people might possibly be going... Well, you in particular might be going a little bit overboard, unless you're planning to walk over there now that you've got, scratches all up and down your ankle again. Hosa has made a survival roll by 7 and is therefore probably going to be able to keep you people out of trouble if anyone failed a roll. Antuxa?
Wait, he has one. I was going to fashion Ran a hat. But he has a hat.
I do. It's on my character sheet. It says, hat that has seen better days.
Well, then never mind. I'm going to fashion myself a hat.
I do not know if you saw my roll.
Let me check. There were a lot of rolls. Sen made a perception roll and missed it by 7.
Yes, because I was making it at -5.
Somehow,
Okay.
in the middle of this...
I'm going to fashion Sen a hat.
In the middle of this bloody cactus-infested wasteland, somehow Antuxa makes an artist, fashion, and textile roll by 8.
I mean, I figured that...
Do have my carry-on, darling. I'm not entirely defenseless.
I'm just imagining, like, you grab a few scraps of whatever, and then suddenly we have this enormous, wide-brimmed hat that is high fashion. We could expect Sen to be walking down a runway, murdering everyone along the way, but walking down a runway wearing this hat.
And it probably has little ribbon ties to go under the leku and keep it on, right?
I'll have to sacrifice a shawl I got from Alderaan itself and a ribbon from Dantooine, but it will do for now.
But remember, it's fashionable to have one of the ribbons not tied.
Jigsaw has made the survival by 4.
That ought to help with your difficulties out here, Sen.
You mean the fact that I
seem to have sand in everything.
Yeah. And spikes in my leku.
Yes. Well, this also... Well, that's new. Ah, there it is. I couldn't grab the dice to get rid of them. Yes, well, I've left dangling ribbons off the back that should wave away anything that tries to land on your leku. I know this is miserable for all of us, but we can at least be a little bit comfortable.
So the die rolls that you were hearing were, I am using telekinesis to remove sand from my everything. If telekinesis other is the right roll, as I argue it should be because I am not made of sand, I made the roll by
Reasonable.
8. If instead you say, well, it's on you, so it would have to be telekinesis self because logistical reasons, whatever, I still made the roll by 4.
No, I think that's fine. Yes, you can desand most of yourself. The problem is that it keeps, creeping up into your boots, and eventually it sort of works its way up.
Imagine, if you will, there is a constant sandstorm around Rand. But instead of the sand blowing around Rand, the sand is blowing away from Rand.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's coarse and it gets everywhere else.
So that's how the sand keeps getting in my eyes. I didn't fail my survival desert roll. I failed my survival Ran roll.
Yes, we all do. It's a trying experience to survive Ran, but we manage.
Just remember, you can't... If we find an encampment, we can't run through it. We can only ran through it, because we'll be going past tents.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of which, Ran, darling, do you have any of those MREs left?
I thought you'd never ask. And that's not a turn of phrase. I honestly thought you'd never ask. Give me a second here.
Only Buck seems to be flagging a bit from what I can only presume is, I don't know, hunger?
Didn't get great sleep, ma'am, either.
Yes, I know. It's the
None of
business
us
with
did.
the nightmares, and
well, here,
it's been a long couple of days, but you should at least eat something.
I will give you one of my favorites. This is chicken a la king. It only expired 2 years ago.
Is that good or bad, ma'am?
That's
Sir.
Positively fresh.
Yes,
You
sir.
can trust Ran. Ran is a connoisseur of MREs. If he says it's still good, trust him. It's still good.
I've eaten far worse, and I'm still alive.
This is a disaster.
Oh, everything around us is a disaster, darling.
Also, for those listening who
know.
aren't in the know, chicken a la king is considered to be the worst MRE ever created.
Yeah, but
Why?
if Ran likes it, I can think of many reasons why that would be the case.
I mean, we're starting with it's chicken, but that's me and my weird taste buds.
Like, I can think of other MREs, hypothetical MREs that might be worse, but largely they involve the word tartar.
So, my source for this information is from this link that I'm providing, where they don't explain why it's the worst, but they just say, yeah, 99% of the time when you ask people, this is the one that's the worst. Second worst is a veggie omelet, which looks like an orange brick.
That would be why. I completely believe that, because the idea of omelets turned into MREs is let's just leave that at a long pause and we'll go on from here.
The remaining three are in order: beef enchilada, veggie burger, and dehydrated beef and pork patties. And now I will
I'm
close
surprised
the
the veggie burger is bad.
Anything can be done poorly.
True.
If there's a meal that you think no one can mess up, I assure you, someone has, in a spectacular fashion, and fire may have been involved. Planned or unplanned. Anyway, we are continuing to the north.
We've given the GM enough time to set up a new map.
Indeed. Isn't that grand? As the sun comes up, ignore whichever way the shadows are on the map. We will just, whatever.
My immersion is ruined.
That's right. You haven't been able to get a bath yet. You've only had sand.
It's a sand
I have
bath.
just put on my bespoke wave wards, darling.
Rand is covered in Axe body spray.
Oh, no.
It's not because Rand likes it. It's because it's better than the alternative. Also, we're going into battle.
It keeps the insects away.
It does. It
keeps
kills
everything
them.
else away, but,
it's better than armor.
It does the job.
Armor doesn't have a range to it. This does.
Oh, dear. So, it has been... It's a several-hour walk. Is there anything that you want to talk to your NPCs about?
So, Hosa, may I call you Hosa?
Is my name.
Well, some people object.
Ashi is the clan name. It is for formal. This is not a formal ritual ceremony.
Well, I just thought perhaps you had a title or something, but I am pleased to see that you don't stand on ceremony.
I have titles, but he shrugs.
Do you? How fascinating.
They are in Rill. Translates walking in dreams, walking with dreams.
Extraordinary. What is it you see when you walk in dreams or walk with dreams?
It depends on where I am meditating.
Ah, I see. I have much the same experience.
I felt your presences, yes.
Well, who can blame you?
Eyeing Ran, indeed.
Is the term they use a term I recognize?
Should you have had Rill? Actually, you do probably... Give me an appropriate roll. An IQ -3 if nothing else. Actually, an area knowledge -3 if nothing else. If you can come up with a reason for more than...
Well, I assume I have a basic knowledge of whatever culture I was picked up from since...
True, that's true. So, okay, give me an IQ if nothing else then. Okay, and Tuxa just made it, Sen just made it. And Tuxa, Dreamwalker? There are a few Force traditions, small ones, that use that terminology here and there. Sen,
okay.
You're not quite sure if that's a pure Twi'lek theology term, or if there's some Zabrak gotten in there somewhere, or who knows what. This is probably things.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it feels like it might be something familiar from when you were learning about Twi'lek culture, blah, 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 when you were a wee little youngling or initiate, but not quite. You do not have an instant, oh my gosh, yes, this of course, not with just making it.
Yeah. It's not like, oh yeah, that's a normal religious position that a clan would have.
Right. But then most of the clan stuff that you know about has been thoroughly infected by contact with Jedi. So
yeah.
It might be similar to a very ancient priestess title. Maybe.
But I really have no idea.
Yeah. It feels almost familiar, but not in the sense of recognition of, oh yeah. More like that would make sense.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
You could poke him. You can ask. What was the last thing that got asked of him? Oh, Dreamwalker titles, not standing on titles, right? He shrugs.
Hosa, darling, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it seems like Basic is not your first language.
It is not, no.
May I ask what is?
Mostly Rill.
Real, I see.
Twi'lek language.
Indeed.
Nar Shaddaa dialect, primarily.
I see. How fascinating. Well,
Can't say I know those hand signs.
He makes a gesture and a shrug.
Well, no,
I have never seen those planets. I grew up here.
That is what I gathered. Your parents were slaves?
Grandparents.
I mean no judgment.
The Hutts brought many people here. There have been a few generations since. That is the word for growing up and having a child, not for living and dying. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I understood. I just wasn't sure how far removed you were.
Myself, 2. Others 1 or 0.
Indeed. It is a recently settled planet, after all.
By
And,
Hutt
well,
standards.
by Imperial standards, by, well...
Hutts brought
the standards
slaves early on.
The
to
standards
mine.
other than... The standards of anyone, I suppose, other than the people living here.
Yes. Hutts 1010s. What is the word?
Is that a word I know?
10
1,000.
1,000? No.
10
less than
tens would be
1,000.
100.
Yes, that one.
But I thought you were talking about how long they lived.
Oh, no, sorry. Yes, Hutts live long. Been here 100.
Ah,
Short time for a hut.
Have not built things for 100. First the mines, then the towns, then the rails, the trains. We go to Old Mine. They mined and found the mine played out quickly. And Tuxa, you extend your senses out.
and they fall off.
Something like that. It feels like you have your mind has taken a step and fallen into a sucking quicksand pit of wet clay in darkness.
And I see it for once, because I made my perception by 2.
Also, at approximately the same time as you are trudging along and getting into the foothills, a flying creature comes swooping over your heads, screeching,
Your foos cut out.
My foos cut out?
We heard the... And...
Not your foos.
The foos! The bird comes screeching foos and lands upon a signpost, ancient and weathered and made of... It almost looks like it's made of scraps of Duraplast.
Maybe it wants a ball.
I am treating my detect disturbances as unusable for the next 5 minutes.
At least 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You rolled a full 18.
Yeah, no, I'm saying definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's call it the next 10 minutes, at least.
At least.
You flooded the engine.
Yeah.
Infernal intervention! No, wait. Well, maybe. I
mean, that's kind of...
You are, as far as you're concerned, walking through an area that, okay, visually this is sand, physically this is sand, but every fiber of you is saying that you were walking into a pit full of liquid, thick clay that clogs your brain.
Good luck, everyone. The floor is dirt.
And Tuxa has made a will roll by 4.
And Tuxa can continue walking.
Yay. Walking. Ran has made will by 4.
I
just
don't
want
think
to
anybody
belong.
but me needs to roll this.
I
That's
just
right.
wanted to
This
not
is
feel left out.
But that's fair.
It's entirely possible that Rand noticed that Antuxa got an expression on her face.
Also fair.
In that case, what Ram would do would be to move closer to Antuxa.
I'm not sure if Antuxa will have shared her new delusion with the rest of the class.
I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have.
I also am pretty sure she wouldn't have, but you never know.
Oh, that's right. You're getting, you feel somewhat haunted about it.
When Rand
Yeah,
notices...
I am...
Sorry.
Sorry, when Rand notices the
look on Antuxa's face, he is going to modify his trajectory to come up alongside Antuxa. Not making a beeline, but just, oh, and by the way, I'm here now. And in an attempt to speak both nonchalantly and quietly, everything okay?
Oh, just... Do you remember the pit on Thresher?
Unfortunately, I do.
Despite the sun, despite the sand, despite the rocks, I cannot shake the sense that it is all around me.
Well, considerably less screaming, though.
For you, perhaps. This is unnerving. And
Well,
I do not have many nerves to begin with. But I intend that to be funny. I'm pretty sure Antuxa has the highest will in the party.
Whatever our quarry is, it's certainly a monster. What it wasn't
Indeed.
counting on was other monsters.
Indeed.
We'll
And
be through
I need
this.
to know more about those creatures. Will you kindly hold it in place?
Oh, our friend the bird over there?
Yes. I need to have some unspoken words with it.
Well, I made my telekinesis other roll by 9, so it's just a matter of the GM making a roll to see if it works.
Let's just see if...
With a critical failure.
It wasn't critical failure. It was just missing by 7. It was barely not a critical failure.
It almost missed by as much as I made it.
Indeed. You have a suddenly shrieking in a rather... that doesn't sound like it really ought to come out of a bird's throat, maybe a fox's.
I try holding it upside down and gently shaking it back and forth like rocking a small child to sleep.
Salt comes out.
It attempts to flail any limbs that you are not holding with your mental grip.
It's a full body hug. If this was a cat, it'd be a burrito.
It is twitching everywhere, thrashing its head and shrieking, fuss, fuss, and shriek, shriek. Hosa says, ah, that one.
There's only one of them?
Yes, one of that one.
It doesn't seem to be aligned with the others.
No.
Far from it.
It is not.
Doing my best to not look angry and scared as I walk toward it and grab it around the neck. Not firmly enough to choke it.
Fuzz, fuzz.
Well, all of its pointy bits are going up, so...
It goes twitchy, twitchy, flaily, flail.
Hold still, friend. We're not here to hurt you, but we don't want to be hurt.
Hosa. What is that thing aligned with, if not the others?
Hosa sighs. Hosa says, words difficult.
If only there was some type of sign language that they could use.
I don't speak the Narshada hand signs.
No, it is a ritual. I was made to call Ashi Ja'ith. Let me resolve Antuxa briefly here. You have just made
I'm going to use my inspiration to re-roll that. And see, I just got it back.
2 different GMs have laughed at you today.
You succeeded in your psychometry. If you wish to spend 1 fatigue to immediately try to do more psychometry, I am fine with this.
I wish to spend 1 fatigue to immediately try more psychometry.
Okay.
And then immediately meditate to get it back.
Do I just re-roll?
Yeah, just reroll.
Made it by 7.
So much better.
So much better.
You know this Foos bird's next of kin.
Interesting you should say that.
I had a hunch.
You're fairly sure it's not just your imagination, but it is definitely, with a 7, parts of it at least spring out of clay and darkness.
Speak to me, bird thing.
You see, in your mind's eye, a body walking around as if you're seeing it through the eyes of this bird and knowing it to be, well, the bird thinks that body should be its.
Is that a face I recognize?
It is, let's see, from where?
Is it either Rufo or, let's see if I get the name right, Wilt?
Wade, I think.
Wade. Okay.
W-A-Y-D. I don't know. Reasonable.
And I think it's Rufu.
Mm-hmm. It's one that you only vaguely recognize from looking at some of those wanted flimsies.
Okay.
Is it Axbit?
And that would be the Wade one, probably. I mean, it's vague enough that if it were someone else who looked similar, then it could be. But
So it's the wanted poster is not a great portrait.
It's a portrait of someone who is scruffy, and it looks like it's been somewhat enhanced from a picture that was not gotten very well on some kind of security camera.
Somebody described what the person looked like to a Six Flags portrait artist.
Right. But the portrait that they drew was at least vaguely Wade.
Yes.
Okay, I let go.
The bird hangs there in Rand's telekinetic grip. Meanwhile, back with Sen and Hosa. Hosa says that, they made me waken Hosa'Ashi. Rufu made me waken.
So it's not Rufu's and it's not exactly yours. Is that correct?
Hosa'Ashi has let it fly freely.
I'm concerned. Who are you punching?
And Tuxa?
I was not intending to punch. I was clicking things to see if I could get Foundry to let me interact.
Okay.
Okay.
That then.
So I don't have to worry about you murdering this bird. Or me.
No. This, however, I do intend.
With another critical failure?
Yes.
Okay, there was a perception roll. Whatever you were looking for, you do not see it.
Your eyes fall out.
Actually, tragically, I only failed by 1. I was just seeing if I heard what Sen and Hosa were talking about.
The bird is whining Fust a little bit too loudly for you to make out what Sen and Hosa are talking about. Ran, you can hear. How far away are you actually? Like, what is that? 20 yards away?
Listening?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be not as close as Antuxa is to the Foos bird, but I still want to be close because the closer I am, the better I can see it, the better I can deal with telekinesis other.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine I'm quite some distance away from the other conversation, which means I likely am not hearing it unless they're, so I woke this up. I don't think they're doing that.
You're hearing that they're saying something.
Yeah,
no, they're not.
They're not speaking at the same volume that my 6th graders do.
No. You can see that they are talking together.
Okay.
When you glance over your shoulder.
So,
therefore,
who is it?
Rand, darling, Would you put our friend Wade down gently and right side up?
Raise an eyebrow at that.
And why don't we take a break?
We've been playing for about an hour or more. Critical success, Ran. Critical success on Teak.
That's a 3 and 2
Ran is
ones.
benefiting from all my critical failures.
I have telekinesis othered everyone else's dice.
Yes.
Fear me. I've telekinesis othered the fourth wall. And we're going to take a short break. Be right back. All right. So we're back. We definitely had a very short break. It was 5 minutes exactly. Unfortunately, in the span of those 5 minutes, I got and have mostly recovered from a cold.
Oh, I'm glad you've mostly recovered.
It's okay. When I get sick, my voice gets brumblier, and I feel like I can do a better James Earl Jones impression. That or Barry White.
So Ran is voiced by James Earl Jones in the movie adaptation.
Buck, I am not your father.
Well, I'm glad of that, sir. Seems like being mighty awkward, since I think we're not about like same age.
We're the same age. Why is that old man following us? And is that a bathrobe? Did I just hear a silence? There is... It's more grime than bathrobe these days. Twisted and evil. Old Rob goes to take it off. It just sets it and it stands on its own.
It's so concerning. So, shall we not do the crossover for the moment and go back to... I have reviewed my notes, the audio notes that Crash provided, that you had just set the horrible bird puss creature upright, and meanwhile Sen was talking to Hosa, who had admitted that he had perhaps awoken or called the thing.
The thing who is apparently Walter?
Wade.
Began with a W.
True.
I am concerned that you guessed my dad's name.
I'm concerned that you just doxed your dad.
I mean, there's plenty of them.
You say his name every outro.
I don't think I ever admitted it was him.
That's fine. You aren't using his last name.
Also, we advertise Mom's books.
Mm-hmm. At Elizabeth.
Now someone's going to type in elizabethhahahaha.com. And they're not going to get elizabethmccoy.com. None of your books will be... Wait, is elizabethhahahaha.com available?
Where did my mouse go?
I don't know. Where did you put it?
Down for a moment, and then I lost it, and therefore lost it.
Now we know why gaming mice are so frequently light up and such. It's to mean that you can find them amidst the debris of a hardcore gamer who's been gaming the whole day. I'm not mentioning myself here at all because I don't need such things.
Vanished into a bedsheet.
Mm-hmm.
I found it.
Mm-hmm.
So, good news, elizabethhahahaha.com is available for the low price of $8.98 per year, if you are so inclined. You could also save like $1.50 by going for the same thing but .org.
I don't think that I need to do that because it would be very difficult for people to remember how many ha's there were.
You could also get a .bot. That's $65.
Get a what?
.bot account.
No, thank you. I do not desire to be a bot or have a bot or
all the bot would do would be say to go to elizabethmccoy.com.
And yet.
The more convenient to type web address. Like, this is not the web address you're looking for.
I mean,
Move along.
It'd have to have a GIF of a hand waving past. This is not the address you're looking for.
Yes.
They can go now.
Anyway, yes, bird wave.
Anyway, the bird. The bird is waving?
I don't know if the bird is waving. The bird is upright.
Oh.
I haven't let go of the bird
That's true.
yet.
Okay, that's good. I'm going to make a roll. Why is this not working? Why am I... Oh, I can't select people if I... One moment. The cat must be settled and not on my phone
Hi,
or
Dickens.
on my keyboard. No, this is Flicker. This is the void. Except for a little bit on her throat and in her ears and some speckles on one paw.
It is an urban myth that all black cats are evil, but Flicker is the reason for that myth.
Yeah, pretty much. She likes humans, and she bullied the other cats. And she does, in fact, look very malicious at things. Although Dickens managed to jump on her and beat her up earlier, and I had to rescue her yesterday, so...
And she tries to poke everyone, including other cats, to see if they will give her treats.
Yes, she will
So-
each other.
So the feed the void GIF I found was accurate.
Yeah, except she just sort of reaches out her little paw and touches. Touch.
So the
Touch.
second GIF I found.
Touch. Yeah. Except she doesn't, hit with claws or anything. She just touches you with her paw. It's like, she thinks everyone is the most fragile piñata. So, where were we? Oh, yes. When you set the bird creature back on its feet, where it sort of goes scrabble in the dirt, sand, Hosa calls out of a sudden, don't let go. Keep.
I'm not letting it go. I just think he would prefer to be upright.
Perhaps. I do not know. She touched it. That not part of the understanding.
I'm not quite sure I'm part of the understanding either at the moment, but I don't think I mean that the same way you do.
He's saying he's confused.
Word joke. Yes. Ashija is not words difficult. The spirit created a swap, but did not trade. More understanding, less understanding now.
Are you saying a soul was moved from one vessel to another, but not equally?
Supposed to be 2 vessels. Ashija ith make 3.
So if there's our bird friend, and whatever is posing as Rufu, who's the third?
And Buck, having just made an IQ roll, goes, Sir, it was Wade, wasn't it? Wade and his uncle.
Well, I do believe this is Wade at the moment.
Buck stares in a certain amount of extreme horror.
You are Wade, right?
Give me just one moment. I'm going to do that first. What do you know? Buck made his fright check roll.
I am, I'm still kind of confused as to why it's Wade.
Hosa heaves a sigh.
I'm not sure Wade was supposed to become a bird.
Correct. Your understanding is good.
When you're wrong frequently enough, every now and then you get lucky. I did not need you to meow as a response to that to add punctuation to my sentence, little man.
Hi, Socket.
I'm going to add him to the cast list eventually.
You can give them as part of the outro, the cats appearing in this episode.
Dickens, Flicker, and Socket.
And Percy. Percy shows up a fair amount too and starts pawing my arm to make me give him treat.
So
that bird is wrong. That bird face wrong. Made of pieces.
So what was supposed to happen to Wade failed, and the entity you awoke intervened and made him not turn all the way into one of the bow-wielding problems?
No. Rufu Duncare. Cotton. He old.
Mm-hmm.
Does not want old. Angry. The Hutts say he can leave now, but he's angry that he is old. Not enough to live with.
You wanted to trade places with Wade.
Yes.
And instead of trading places with Wade, Wade ended up in this. Something horrid ended up in Rufu. And did Rufu actually end up in Wade's body?
I think yes. I left as soon as channeling Hosa'Ashi.
Well, I suppose at least one being got what they wanted out of everything.
Perhaps.
A shame something might have to be done about that, but I don't think that's a right now problem. A right now problem is what to do with our unfortunate friend here, and next on the list would be continuing to track whatever's in Rufu.
I think Hosa'Ashi is in Rufu.
I was just going to ask that.
Yes, but if I try to say that out loud, I'm going to mispronounce it, I'm sure.
Not your language.
I have many expertise. Language is unfortunately not among them. Unless you're talking legalese or accounting.
No, but problem. Hosa'Ashi touch spirits. Wade spirit, Rufu spirit. They become anchors.
Didn't you say...
Your plan is named after her, isn't it?
Or it is named after Clan. Clan discovered them.
Ellie, what were you saying?
The spirits.
Sorry.
I don't remember.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Your proposed plan was to destroy the anchors, wasn't it?
Easier to banish Hosa'Ashi back to the dark places. One moment. The phone is ringing.
Now, I'm not going to say that Wade is innocent, but who among us actually is? But that seems like a rather short end of the stick.
He would have given me 2 Hutts. His uncle, Rufu, give many back to Hutts.
Wade, do you have anything to offer in your defense?
Hosa says, not much brain.
As we don't have any lifeboats, and the rations we have are soon to expire, I don't see how that has anything to do with anything.
I'll have you know my chicken a la king, of which I have 3 more packets of it, is not
expired many years ago. We're aware.
Yes, but it's not going to actually go bad for another decade or so.
Well.
However, I do believe that's a digression.
As long as you're happy with it, everybody else should be happy with it.
I'm not happy with the conundrum. Now, Wade, I know that you don't have
I don't even think she's in that sector. So I don't see what that has to do with anything.
The conundrum?
Yeah. She's a fine battleship, but she's across the galaxy.
Rand will side-eye and Tuxa and then look back at Wade.
What?
Now,
The absurdity of this conversation is overwhelming. I'm just joining in.
look, I love a good joke as much as anyone, but right now I'm trying to have a serious conversation with
a bird that can only say foos.
Who happens to possess the soul of a person who quite likely is one of the main contributors to our train being derailed, and I'm talking myself into just cutting its head off.
Well, don't do that. And especially don't say that where I can hear you. Otherwise it will fly off and we'll never get it back.
I assure you, it's not flying off.
Oh, I see.
I rolled very well in the first half of this recording.
You think there was some talking about destroying the anchors?
Hosa points at the bird. And Tuxa, you have missed occultism by 2. What don't you know?
Anything about destroying the anchors?
Oh.
As luck would have it, we have a helper NPC.
Okay, it is plausible to you that destroying the bird might destroy the anchors, and it's been a hot, sweaty walk for several hours, and there's probably other rituals, but they aren't coming to mind right now.
I'm wearing the lightest clothes I could find, and they have an additional hole in them for added ventilation. Of course, I have an additional hole in me for added ventilation, but there's padding over it.
No?
Hey, okay, so we maybe might need the bird for something because it's innate, right?
Kill bird, destroy anchor, or if get all bodies together, perhaps convince Ashi Jith put everything back. But he is happy with a body that walks in the sun.
Oh, we have ways of making people unhappy.
Well,
So,
Wade, you go.
if we cut the bird's wings off, it can't fly off and we can take it with us.
Buck is looking slightly horrified at you. Hosa, shrug. You get the impression that Hosa's not a Jedi.
Wade, do you understand me? Give me 1 foos for yes and 2 fooses for no.
I think Antuxa was saying something.
Bix has made an IQ roll by 1.
We don't need to take its wings off. We just need to take out the flight feathers. It's a thing on one of the planets I grew up on. They take out the flight feathers and use them in ritual, and then the birds can't fly and they have rain for another season. At least according to their,
I've heard of it being used on farm birds as well. Much easier to collect the eggs if they're not all put up in trees.
This is true.
I was never told which feathers to cut.
With telekinesis, I suppose that's sort of a moot point. But, one does what one can.
I imagine there aren't many farmers Sith. With that said, Wade, we seem to have a predicament. Now, as you've heard, hopefully comprehended, it would behoove us to just end you. It would make the coming conflict a bit easier. However,
the bird stares at you.
If you want any chance of getting back into your original body, we do seem to be your best hope. So I propose you tag along with us for the chance of being you again. And we won't kill you outright unless it's absolutely necessary.
The bird thing stares with perhaps confusion in its tiny little eyes.
Let's put it this way. I very much want to kill Rufu for what Rufu has done. And I would prefer to kill Rufu in Rufu's body.
Foos! 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 Foos!
And if we're putting Rufu back in Rufu's body, well, who would inhabit yours then?
Foos?
You know, I feel compelled to say use your words, but I feel like using a plural here is not 100% accurate.
Hosa heaves a sigh. Use rope, tie its wings to it, cut off feathers, whatever.
We have a rope.
Yeah, someone brought a rope, didn't they?
I don't know. Did they?
At the very least, you've probably got bandages that you could.
Wade, there's a spot on my shoulder that's free. If you care to accompany us, I'm prepared to offer you a ride. I let go.
Let's see. The bird attempts, having rolled a critical failure on IQ roll, to start flying away.
Well, we can't have that.
Made by 6. Let's see if the bird can get something resembling. Nope. Misses its dex roll by 5. So, you have in fact caught the bird again.
I float Wade over to my
flap,
shoulder.
flap.
Oh, no. He is not going to flap, flap, flap. I assure you he is not doing that. Because if my intention is to bring him over to my shoulder, I will not be smacked about the head. I assure you. I grabbed him by the wings. And I place him down gently
pathetically
on my shoulder. Look, here is where you may stay. And if you prefer to be elsewhere, we might have to take some drastic measures, which I believe you've already heard discussed.
Osa says, his brain, a dead bird's brain now.
Yes.
Lucky he remembers names.
Yes. I'm beginning to gather that. However,
speak with bird if wish.
I have the peculiar habit I've found of trying to give people the benefit of the doubt up until I realize that I just have to end them. But we're not going to reach that point, are we, Wade?
Mind tricks and Tuxo, what are you doing?
I am talking to the bird and trying not to catch Ran in the what's the word I'm looking for?
Ran just decides. Ran decides, because he's caught in the shrapnel effect of this, that he should spend the rest of the trip sitting on his own shoulder.
Yes.
Hilarity ensues. A somersaulting Ran.
Like,
using telekinesis
like
self.
Yeah. Like the cat that has, buttered bread strapped to its back, and butter side down lands on its feet. Butter side down lands on its feet. And so what are you telling the bird brain?
I know it's redundant to say the first half of this, but there are no thoughts in your mind but this. Rand's shoulder is the safest and best place for you to be. Anywhere else is dangerous.
It clings to Rand's shoulder.
Should have thought about wardrobe first. Well, I've made this cot. I shall sleep in it. Off we go. Adventure awaits.
You go.
Well, you can't have punctures in your shoulder. I already have punctures in my shoulder, and we can't be all matchy-matchy. I'm not saying that out loud.
I don't. You can say it out loud if you want to.
I don't want to.
Okay.
Let's have Hosa decide that only one of us is perhaps suffering from heat stroke, and one too many cacti to the face.
You're both nuts. All right. So, as you can see on the map, there's the foothills that rise up, and there's a path that goes through them. And eventually some walking after.
Just as I was dragging Ran over the map, you changed it.
I'm evil. Absolutely evil.
Yes, darling.
Remember the book?
I believe I do.
I'm kind of wondering if there might be any clues in there as to what to do with the bird.
Well, take a look. It's in a book. There's a rainbow of possibilities.
Oh.
I gotta look something up. IQ roll.
Made by 6. Nice.
Eidetic memory.
All right. And what are you?
Specifically about the book, specifically about contents relating to possession or transference of souls.
I recall correctly, the book itself was more about possession or transference of health. Like, well, you know how to steal hit points from other people, actually,
Right.
but health, beauty, wealth, luck, gaining it for yourself, draining it from other people, etc., etc. That book did not have things about souls in it, although there were a few notes, come to think of it, that perhaps got added there after talking to Hosa,
Okay.
who apparently had been, On the other hand, you've made that by 6. You are fairly sure that transference of souls between bodies is something that would get philosophy and or mysteries really mad at you.
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing that there is, interestingly, virtually no extant research on, and no one ever really questions that.
Well,
The term forbidden technique comes to mind.
I mean, it's definitely not like there's anybody powerful transferring their soul between bodies.
One certainly hopes not. Long pause. They do call that the
I
Emperor's
suddenly can't hear you anymore.
voice.
Just a second.
Okay.
Is that still canon, or
No,
did
I
that
can hear anybody. Just a second.
Is what still canon?
the whole transferring their soul from one body to the next? Is that still canon, or did that go legacy?
Regarding
Palpatine.
Palpy. I mean, that's technically part of the canon because that's in the JJ trilogy. Well, he 2/3. He did 2/3 of the trilogy, but technically that's canon.
Okay.
You're back.
Now I can hear you again.
Oh, good. Yeah, actually, you made that by 6. You kind of suspect that there's the Emperor's voice thing. You don't talk to the Emperor, you talk to the Emperor's voice. I mean, you don't talk to it, but stories, the Dark Council. Yeah. One that talks to the Emperor's voice, not the Emperor. So, the fact that everyone very much does not really have a lot of stuff about soul transference around is kind of it's suggestive. It's suggestive that perhaps the Emperor does not want people trying to screw up whatever he's doing with his voice. So you are not surprised that there wouldn't be things written down even in something that's probably at least half magic with a K.
Yeah, that's understandable. All right, well, I will pass this on.
Well, that is fascinating information. I'll make sure to not attempt to trade souls between bodies after this. That might get me in trouble.
I don't know. You do seem to have disappeared.
If you step onto the map, you lose sight of everyone who's not on the map.
Sure enough.
As you come into, don't go exploring yet, or so help me, I will pause the game. I'm going to put you back, Ran. Yes.
Pray she does not pause the game further.
Yes. All right. The cave has old, weathered metal panels propped up against it that can be slipped between fairly easily, let some amount of light in. There's a speeder. That's what that horribly drawn gray thing is up in the map there. There's a lot of darkness in this particular area. Let me give you the current darkness penalties with nothing, You're currently at a -5 to the entrance area, unless you produce a light source or have night vision, which will cut into that, obviously.
Look, I found a light source.
Everyone, give your tokens a glow. Or at least Ron should give his token a glow. Or should I glow his token up?
It's a glow up.
Give your token a glow up. Or do you want me to do it?
Give me a second.
Okay.
While I'm playing with this, I would like to attempt to move the speeder in some way where it's a little less convenient for anyone who might want to use it to make a quick escape.
Well, it's pointed inwards. It's not pointed out. Sen, give me a perception roll. Just generic perception.
Are there still penalties?
No. This is a forced perception. That speeder that ran is probably fixing to mess with, probably lift up with telekinesis. That speeder is probably... It doesn't seem happy to you. It's not a happy speeder.
It's not in a Bob Ross painting at all.
I have never seen an unhappy speeder before, and I'm kind of weirded out by it.
Someone's painted a sad face on it. Well, I could turn that frown upside down, just saying.
Buck will head over to the speeder and sort of... It's out of power.
Oh, good. And apparently, it's been heavily used. Probably no resale value at all left.
It might work if you charged up again.
Well, let's just make sure no one messes with it.
I think that maybe someone should psychometry that thing.
Oh, I'm not touching it directly psychometry. I'm just turning it upside down.
So upside down. It is elegantly upside down.
It is exactly where it was before.
Little flip. Yes.
It is exactly where it was before, just 180 degrees different from what it was before.
Yep.
Someone's going to try to jump on it and drive away with a new battery pack or something and press the button and get launched by whatever anti-grav shoots out from the bottom. Oh, please, oh, please, oh, please let that happen.
We shall see. Buck has seen enough telekinesis by now, mostly because of all the cactus murder, that he is not completely freaked out by you flipping things around with a single flick of a fingernail. You continue to have the bird clinging to your shoulder.
Of course I do. Now, did I hear someone say they wanted to do psychometry?
Sen, I will be more than happy to let you do the honors. Would you like me to scout further into the cave and see what I can find?
Would you die? And Tuxa, very invisible. Sen, psychometry by 1. It has been out in the sun. It has been sitting here for a day or two, maybe?
And for some reason, it's unhappy.
Mostly because it's not in good repair. It's not in good repair, and its battery is at best a trickle, and, well...
Okay, that would do it.
Yeah. And possibly because, I mean, okay, Antuxa is... Well, actually, Antuxa, you crit failed your detect disturbances a while back, so if other people wish to make a detect disturbances roll...
That's fair. I still have feedback going through me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't detect disturbances so far as I know, but I can make a perception roll by 6.
That will do. You are in... You remember that you were told that there are these dark areas of the planet that are pockets of additional power in the Force, and, well, this is one of them.
We found a cave of nope. We found a cave of nope. We found a cave of nope. I do not sing that out loud.
The floor is dirt. The floor is dirt, but the floor is dirt, so that's not surprising actually.
Good news,
The floor is
everyone.
perhaps
Good news, everyone. The floor is dirt so much that it actually is dirt. Things are either going to be very interesting in here or very boring.
Well, that's kind of it. To be what it is, I mean, and not, masquerading.
And I think I see 2 lines of something up ahead. It's
the
just
2
within
lines
my line
of
of
something
sight.
up ahead are demarking the area where, if you do not have a light source, it goes from -5 to vision checks to -10. It's dark in there.
Oh.
Well, I have a warm, glowing, warming glow.
Indeed you do. But if Antuxa wants to scout ahead invisibly, she is going to hit a point of
Diminishing returns.
Yeah, or at least diminishing vision.
I'm sort of hoping that my tiny computer has a flashlight.
If you make a light source invisible in Star Wars, what happens?
It's still a light source. It's just, it makes it obvious that there's someone there. Even though they can't see you, they can tell that there's something there making light.
And Tuxa turns on the little flashlight in her wristwatch and says, "Hello, I am the good fairy of the wastes," while waving her arm
Tuxa
around.
does no such thing. I just want that on the record for all the listeners.
I'm going to say that you can produce without truly breaking your invisibility. You can produce a small amount of glow that is basically point blank. But if you are okay, if you do not want to compromise your invisibility entirely, it is going to be basically you will see what is literally right around you.
It'll provide just enough light that when the horrible thing is standing right in front of you, you get to see that it is, in fact, 2 inches from your face.
Yeah, you can have more light, but it will compromise your invisibility a fair amount.
Well, I don't want that.
I love how you've got your little teeny light there.
Yes, now I just need to figure out how to change its direction.
That I would not know.
Anyway, yes, I have a little teeny light.
This little light of mine.
A little teeny distance.
Okay. I will presume that you will go slowly. All right.
Yes. I am going slowly, and as soon as I see any other light source, I'm turning mine off.
All right. Probably means that you're doing a certain amount of cover the light source, and then... Okay, you go through the bend, little windy bend there in the tunnel, which has the cuts off the final bit of light coming in from outside. To your north, there is a room that is full of it's kind of clay. The floor seems to be a clay, a very hard packed one. And
you found the clay in darkness.
You have indeed found clay in darkness. The floor is also covered with dead bird creatures that look, it's not clear if they were torn apart before or after they died. Hard to tell, or if pieces of them are missing. You don't have a lot of light. They look kind of horrible. And there's something largish, like the back end of a speeder, maybe, further to the north. You're approaching it. It is a bit difficult to walk between everything. Oh, that's some kind of giant insect that's about the size of a saddle on one of those creatures that people race things. It's
charming.
Probably dead. You are not seeing any additional light.
Okay, well, let's try the south then.
All right. There's a passage to the south
as
well.
I will let Ran and Sen get some action in while I'm tiptoeing around these bird things.
Branson, what all are you up to doing?
I'm counting to 30, then taking a step forward. Then counting to 30 and taking a step forward.
Behind you, Buck says, So, sir, should I just stay here? Or should I stick close with you in case those horrible little guys come round?
Well, they might be in here. So
Yeah,
I would
but
suggest...
they might be out there, too.
Yes. So I would suggest you keep watch on the entrance here. If they start coming in, you come and find us. Don't worry about being quiet about it.
I don't have a glowy sword, sir. You know?
I have a feeling that won't be as important.
Will be if I don't want to fall on my face in the dark, sir, or run into a wall.
Keep your hand on one wall as you're moving as quickly as you can without falling over, and you're less likely to hit a wall, especially if you have your other hand facing forward.
If I scream, y'all come for me, right?
That is the plan, yes. If you're not trying to be quiet about it, and the things are out there, you letting us know they're coming will let us know we've got to come out and deal with them. I don't intend
Yes,
to be
sir.
penned in here.
Yes, sir.
You've already seen how far I can throw things. These things used
Yes,
to
sir.
be birds. I intend to teach them to fly again.
Not sure they do great with wings. Yes, sir.
Well,
And in aid of that, maybe I should be the one in front here.
Miss
As
your
you wish.
invisibility by 1.
Yeah, I missed my invisibility by 1, and now I'm pretending I wasn't trying to turn invisible.
as Ran is providing the light source, Ran has no interest in being invisible. Ran is interested in being a primary target, which will be much to something's detriment.
Hosa has also vanished from sight. I'm just going to assume that the bird clingeth to Rand's shoulder, and I'll just move the bird whenever.
What's these
Works for me.
lines?
Those lines are where the light that seeps in from the entrance cuts out entirely, and you would be at a -10 if you did not have a light source. Rand has a light source, which I figure is probably equivalent to a lamp. Reduces the penalty normally to -2 for a gas lantern, which is just showing where I stole this adventure from.
Well, that's an awful lot of bones, don't you think?
Corpses in various states of, well, torn apartness.
I think
Right, we found the clay and darkness factory.
I was going
The
to call
bird-
it an assembly line, but yes. I tried to give Wade a reassuring pat on the head.
Wade's feathers feel absolutely disgusting. This bird has never had a bath and may have been dead for a while.
I didn't say the pat would be
So
reassuring
they
to me.
are making other birds,
I
Or-
think this is how they made
turning them into the...
the things with bows and knives.
Yeah,
There's some larger
That's what I
spiky
mean, the
shape further
bird
on.
things.
That's what I tended to call the bird things too. But then young Wade here popped up.
And Tuxa, as you go a bit to the south, it opens up into a larger area with things that look like crates and barrels once you get close enough to actually see them. A couple
Look,
of
various
stone
housewares.
pillars. Mhm.
Sorry.
I wonder if
Yeah.
there's anything we could do to the bodies that make them less suitable. I don't love there being a big pile of future enemies right over there.
And I'm going to pause the game just a moment while I do a quick looking something up because. Okay. Let's go back here. And Tuxa, Would you make me a danger sense roll?
Maybe. I have to look up what it is first.
I'm going to close the window.
Pretty
Be
sure
right
it's-
back.
Okay.
The GM rolls once against your perception, secretly.
Oh, but I think it's more fun to make you roll this one. But I can roll it secretly if you want me to.
All right.
You feel that, honestly, you should throw yourself to one side or the other, either north or south, now.
I do so.
All right. I would like you to also, for this particular thing, if
I
thou
just
couldst,
heard a car driving by right as Antuxa is making evasive maneuvers. And I want to thank whoever it is near your home right now.
give me a dodge roll, and just for grins. Although the fact you made that by 9 is very... Yes. As you fling yourself to the side, there is the sound of a very loud explosion. Bang. Is that what slug throwers sound like? That goes off from the little nook that is to the furthest east in this cave area. You have thrown yourself to the north. You turn off your light.
Yes.
Well, time for fun.
Why are you rushing in first?
Because I'm the one with the light source. They won't see you as much.
I have a light source too.
Mine's on.
From the nook, there is the shouting of someone going, "Stay back! Stay back! I see you there! Stay back! I see those lights! I got more."
Good.
And do you know what
Can
these
I-
lights represent?
Can I see by the light of the lightsabers to this distance?
Let's see.
Even in even dimly?
It's kind of shadowed in the place that you are. You do have, I believe, a dark vision. No? You have the glowing eyes. You have the reverse of dark vision.
Yes.
It's pretty tricky without a light at this distance. There's a figure there. There's a figure holding something that red gleams are reflecting from, because people have their lightsabers out.
Oh, I want to get a closer look of the thing he's holding.
Give me a vision roll.
I don't think he means vision.
I mean, I do intend to use my vision close up, but I don't want to force him to walk all the way over here. May I pull the slug thrower over here?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, if you can see the slug thrower. And Tuxa is all the way around next to the your target.
I mean, that's fair. And I missed my vision roll by 4, not including modifiers. So,
I'm going
yeah.
to say it's pretty shadowy in there. You can maybe grab for things, but
So I'm going to say that I would not be using telekinesis in this case, because if I can't see what to grab, I'm not going to just try to grab whatever form I can make out in the darkness and toss it, because that might end up hitting Antuxa.
Mm-hmm. And Tuxa's invisible somewhere.
Yes, which means plotting a trajectory could make Antuxa disappointed in me.
You might body slam Antuxa if Antuxa is between you and the whatever.
Antuxa's had a hard day. I don't want to do that to her.
Antuxa is about to roll mind tricks.
And Tuxa has dropped her invisibility and is using mind tricks.
All right. That's...
Hello,
for
my
it.
darling. You know who we are, and you just need to be reminded of our names. And in the meantime, we're your friends, and you don't want to harm us.
I'm going to make a will roll, obviously. It's a contest, and despite the fact that he made it by 4, you made yours by 7.
We are the
As
solution
you're
to all of
talking-
your problems. and the cause of several more problems that will happen as a result of that. But we are a solution to all of your problems.
Yes.
As you're talking, he swings his slug thrower around to try to point it at you, but at the end of it, you've finished, and who are y'all again?
Yes, you just need to be reminded of our names. I am Antuxa, and the ones over there are Ron, and Sin.
Got a horrible
It is
thing over there.
so nice to see you again.
Yeah, been a while. One of them damn birds over there.
I
Yes.
do
Griffin
believe
birds.
you've met before, yes.
He is essential to our current, how would you characterize it, Ron? Mission? Quest? Intentions?
Nested Matroika dolls?
Yes, that does seem apropos.
Or whatever the Star Wars equivalent is.
I'm just going to ooch through all these crates.
Mm-hmm. There are, in fact, crates and barrels, and many of the crates the lids on them are not precisely securely fastened. They've been opened. They're crooked. They're ajar. Place is dusty.
Yes. And, darling, now that we're all friends, we have been playing for about 2 hours, so why don't we take a break?
2 hours. Good Lord. Sorry about that.
Whoops.
We should take a break. Unpaused?
Yep.
As it turns out, since we've been going for a couple hours on this episode, we should probably call this enough of a cliffhanger. So, this is Beth, and I've been joined by Crash and Ellie and EO, and Flicker and Dickens and Boo and Socket have made themselves known, even if they haven't had characters to play. And does anybody want to plug anything?
EO's mom writes books at Elizabeth dot
No, that is not where she does that.
.edu.
I mean,
there's a bunch of addresses that are available.
No. I mean, actually, I don't write books online. I write books on my computer that is very aggressively not online. And then I make my backups to a private post on dreamwidth.org. And then I publish them through Smashwords and Amazon, and you can find the links to them at elizabethmccoy.com. Or, ask your library to look for Elizabeth McCoy books on library purchase.
I've known of somebody who wrote their books using the wiki markup language.
I mean, I hand insert a certain amount of italics and bolds as HTML.
I mean, that works. And speaking of websites...
That's how I write, too.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I taught you.
Well,
you learned it from me.
There's something nice about saving text as HTML because it preserves all of your formatting, and you can open it in darned near everything.
Uh-huh.
Which is how I save a bunch of documents, actually. And speaking of websites, you can get all these podcasts at aaronbsmith.com/cogwheel. You can follow us on the Fediverse at is.aaronbsmith.com/@cogwheel, where you will find posts saying, hey, new episode out, here it is, and posts saying, here's a whole bunch of out-of-context quotes. Read at your own risk.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to help support us financially, you can join our Patreon, patreon.com/cogwheelgaming. Help us keep the lights on along with other illustrious patrons, including Shen, Walter, Ellie, and patron emeritus Cindy.
Until next time, this is Beth saying, so, been a while, huh? And you're a Ted Taylor there. Right. Night, everyone.
And here's something you didn't hear.
Oh, I can't reproduce the proper chanting that you're not hearing. Actually, no. There is something that you are not hearing yet. Dun 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 dun.
Okay, who pulled the sword out of someone's heart in this game?
Good night.
Why, yes, I am just visiting, but I heard that people were making deals with evil beings, and really, why should they settle for a lesser evil? Pleased to make your acquaintance. My name is Mo. Good night, everyone.
Yes, good night.